Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. Well, Anji and I were out shopping recently at the market, and we bumped into an old friend, one we haven't seen for a few years. She's been quite ill, actually, having to go to the hospital and seeing all these doctors on a very regular basis. And she expressed to us how frustrated she was at this whole experience of having doctors giving her conflicting advice, often what she perceived to be really poor advice. Like one doctor that she had for a while was telling her to eat all this protein. She needed protein for her illness, like that's some kind of magical elixir. Anyway, her cholesterol predictably shot really high, and that's for her condition. She needs to be really concerned about her cholesterol. And she got a new doctor, said, "Well, what's going on with your cholesterol?" She said, "Hey, you guys were telling me to eat protein." And then therefore the doctor switched her diet to something completely different. And we know what it's like too. I went to the doctor to get my blood test done last year, and he was quite concerned about me being vegan and not having enough protein, and was worried about my iron level in particular, which was not founded. It was perfect. And what do you do, though? What do you do when you're faced with going to the doctors, and you know that 99.9% of them don't know anything about a plant-based diet? They don't know about its benefits, they don't know how it protects you from the major causes of disease and death, and they don't know how safe it is and how easy it is to not be deficient. So what do you do when you go to your doctor and he or she tries to convince you that you're doing something bad or harmful to yourself? Well, first of all, let's see how well people around the world are faring by following the standard medical dietary advice.
Consumption of animal products and processed foods cause at least 14 million deaths around the world every year. 14 million deaths. 14 million people dead every year.
So that was Dr. Greger of nutritionfacts.org, and 14 million people die annually from following the standard dietary practices that are normal, eating meat, dairy, eggs, and all that. Well, I don't know about you, but I personally don't want to be one of those 14 million people. So what should you do? Like I said, your doctors aren't usually aware of a plant-based diet and its benefits. What are we supposed to do? Well, let's see what Dr. Greger says.
Look, it's not your doctor's fault, right? Writes a group of prominent physicians. There is a severe deficiency of nutrition education at all levels of medical training, right? We just never taught it, right? We know a whole food, plant-based diet has been proven to reverse our number one killer, protect against type 2 diabetes and cancer. So how has this knowledge affected medical education? It hasn't. Despite the neglect of nutrition and medical education, the public considers physicians to be trusted sources. But if doctors don't know what they're talking about, they could be contributing to diet-related diseases. To stem the surging tide of chronic illness, physicians need to become part of the solution, but we don't have to wait for that to happen. No longer do patients have to be so patient. Doctors no longer hold a professional monopoly on health information. It's been a democratization of knowledge, right? And so until the system changes, we have to take responsibility for our own health and for our family's health, right? We can't wait for society to catch up to the science because it's a matter of life and death.
I love it how Dr. Greger says there's been a democratization of knowledge. Health knowledge is no longer in the hands of a few scholars or doctors. No, anyone with access to a computer, an internet, or a cell phone can find this out for themselves, that a plant-based diet, as Dr. Greger showed, that protects you from the top killers of disease and death. The ironic, sad thing is, most doctors are not yet aware of this stuff. They're just being trained in the old methods that they've been taught in for years. They don't learn about, in their 4 hours of nutrition training, that a plant-based diet protects you from heart disease, diabetes, stroke, top forms of cancer. If you come down with one of those things, they're not going to say, hey, you should try going vegan, unfortunately. So what should you do? What should you do about this dichotomy, this disparity between what's known by science and what doctors actually practice? Well, fortunately, there's a few pioneers in this field, Dr. Greger being one of them. He has a fantastic YouTube channel. So part of this democratization of knowledge is learning for yourself what's really true, what the science really says. And that's what he spends his life doing, pouring through all the research. So since you might not be able to fully trust what your doctors are saying, and they might try to dissuade you from being a vegan. Instead, watch a doctor who is a vegan, who actually knows the science. Unlike your doctors, they're not vegans, they don't know the science. Watch his channel here on YouTube. Subscribe to him. Just go do it right now. I'll put a link down there if I can. Subscribe to Dr. Greger immediately. Stay up on what's really going on. And if your doctor tries to dissuade you from being vegan, you could ask him, hey, or her, what's your nutritional background exactly, and tell them what you know about the matter at hand that your doctor might be a little concerned about, probably unfoundedly. Anyway, that's my whole point of this video. I'm not saying distrust doctors, but the responsibility is each one of us to get out there and learn what's really going on, because we can't rely on our doctors to know this stuff. Only a few pioneer doctors really know this stuff. Hopefully things will change. So post down below. Let me know any odd, uncomfortable experiences you may have had going to your doctor, finding out that you're vegan and what they told you is going to happen to you. You're going to die or something like that from no protein. So post down below, share your experiences. If you're new to this channel, the subscribe button is up there to learn more from me and Angie about our life as vegans. And hit like if you got something out of this video, and share it with your friends. And until next time, as I'm going to go do now, guys, keep it carb, baby. Keep it carb.
2015, Dr. Kim Williams became president of the American College of Cardiology. He was asked why he follows his own advice to eat a plant-based diet. He said, "I don't mind dying," Dr. Williams replied. "I just don't want it to be my fault."